This isn't the moon! Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy IV. In the last one we went through most of the
look,
final
I see
dungeon,
a pigtail.
And in between parts I got a pigtail. It also raised my levels a good amount. I'm now mostly towards my 70s and I have a lot more gil. But the pigtail we can take over here to the adamant to the mithril isle.
Yeah, the adamant
isle. There we go. And let's talk to the guy that we got the adamantite from earlier. If we give him the pigtail, we get something very interesting known as the adamant armor. The adamant armor is the best armor in the game, and you can get multiple of them if you just decide to grind for a lot of pigtails in a row. I'm putting it on
Pigtail.
Cecil. The adamant armor is 100 defense, 20 magic defense, 12 magic evasion, resistance to fire, ice, lightning, poison, silence, blind, pig, mini, toad, petrify, instant death, gradual petrify, confuse, sleep, paralyze, float, and curse. It also gives 15 to strength, stamina, agility, intelligence, and spirit. The only person in the game, for some reason, who cannot equip it is Dark Knight Cecil, and that will require hacking.
Why can't he equip it? That's so dumb.
Because you would never have him, so why would they give him the ability to? Because technically speaking, I think Dark Knight Cecil is considered a different character. That's why he goes back to like level 1 when you get to Paladin. I think technically speaking, the Rydias are considered the same character slot. But in terms of the party I'm bringing into the final area, I'm bringing in the original Super Nintendo party you would have at this point. Kain, Cecil, Rosa, Rydia, and Edge. Like I said last part, normally in my playthroughs of PSP, I would replace Edge with Yang, but I have other things to do. Also, they give you a Gasol whistle right there in case you want to call it the Fat Chocobo before you go to the final boss. Also, I've always loved this background.
And I'm just listening to the music. It's great.
Within the Giant is such a good theme. I'm glad they ended it with this. And welcome to the last of the normal floors. And here we have one of the 2 enemies you can encounter on this floor from my memory. Zemus's Breath, 40,000 HP, 12,000 XP, 50,000 gil. Will only ever use scan on your characters. This doesn't do anything otherwise. He says he's reporting to Master Zemus, but no, it's not. It's just, I guess in a way this could be a way for the game to tell you in case you're weak to something that the final boss could potentially use, but you'd have no idea of what the final boss could do anyway. If anything, this is a time waster. I don't even think it's susceptible to stop, so you would be able to make the message stop.
Reporting to Master Zemus. That's kind of funny, because I think it maybe what it does is it's supposed to build up like, oh god, now he knows.
I guess. You know what, that's probably it. That's probably the only narrative reason this exists. Honestly, auto battle is just the best way to go because at this point, this is all he's doing, so why give him the time of day? I'm honestly surprised they don't have the battle against the 4 fiends playing in this area, though, because that would make sense, because this is the last chance you'd be able to hear it.
Ooh. And now we have the Zemus's Malice, which is a little more annoying because it actually attacks you. It has 20,000 HP, 13,000 experience points, and 50,000 gil, drops potions, no weaknesses, immune to everything. It has Protect and Shell, and in the Game Boy Advance version, it has Confuse.
Which is a very rare attack. I think we'll never see it use Confuse on me, maybe once or twice for some reason in the Game Boy Advance version. But due to this thing's actually pretty extreme defenses, the way you want to go up against this guy is to just use like Mega Flare and Holy, just to maximize your damage.
254 defense. I should have mentioned that they had 254 defense.
Yeah, that's basically what a flying has in this game, so that's pretty dumb. Magic is the way to go.
Hey, I mean, at least Cecil does 98 damage instead of just 1.
Power of the Ragnarok.
And the adamant armor at the same time.
Yeah. Something I've always found odd is this enemy's name is different in some other versions. It's the Zemus Mind. And Malice makes more sense because it's his hatred. Because, honestly, Mind makes it seem like the body's just kind of dead on the floor already for some reason. In the case you want to go back for some reason or want to make some final changes, this is your last chance to do so because there's no random encounters in the next floor from my memory. And you just want to make sure you're all good. Get my MP all up. Cecil doesn't really need much MP, so he'll just stay the way he is.
Cecil does not need MP because he just can't do magic.
Layer 12. Ah, there's the man himself. Also, I love Golbez's sprite here.
So good.
And I always remember it looking oddly like Play-Doh, though, in the Super Nintendo and Game Boy Advance version. Faraga. Wow, that's pretty pathetic damage for Faraga.
I mean, this guy probably has 255 magic defense.
Look at him. Zemus looks like he's trying to hug the guys. Look at that chrome dome.
It's a cool-looking robe, though, you gotta say.
Yeah, actually, in some ways, it actually reminds me a lot of Rubicant. Makes me wonder if Zemus was in any way relative to those guys as well.
Also, for some reason, Zemus is susceptible to hold. That's weird.
Yeah. I've always also found it kind of odd. Zemus is similarly to Kluya and how we mentioned that during the 3D cutscene a few parts back. Zemus is the only Lunarian who is purple. I'm guessing that's because he's been corrupted by evil, but...
Twin Meteor.
This is actually a spell you can use in the 3D version and the after years.
You can use Ultima in the DS version with Twin Magic, I think.
Yeah, I think that's Cecil and Rosa's twin cast. The body dies, but the spirit lives on. I do know there's a very interesting script thing that goes on in this fight, in that... Actually, no way, I'm thinking of a fight later on, never mind. I'm thinking of upcoming events. Yeah.
Is Fusoya gonna die because he's old and he used Meteor?
Nah, he's alien, he's fine. I guess that's the final boss. We didn't even have to fight it. Man, I guess this is the easy type version. All right. You guys took our job from us.
So that was the final boss, guys. That was Final Fantasy IV. Thank you for watching.
Kind of an anticlimactic ending, huh? Especially after all that build-up. Yeah, how you doing, Golbez?
And now they all get to live happily ever after. Theodore and Cecil. Is that even Cecil's? Is that even Cecil's real name?
At this point, it might as well be, because he never got named, according to how he did what. Oh, his corpse lit on fire. That's nothing.
Uh-oh.
That's kind of eerie. We are evil, the hatred of
Evil.
We are so... Yeah, of course.
Zeromus.
As we all know, there is always a Form 2.
It's not even his final form.
Oh. Man, how much hate do you have to have in order to live after death? Not even Kefka got like this.
Nope, not even him. And he hates everything.
Alright, let's see what this Zeromus looks like. What the hell?
Ew, that's disgusting.
A little script thing in this fight, technically. As we're going to see here, Meteor. One of the best spells in existence according to this game. Zeromus completely nods this off. In the Super Nintendo version...
Which, that doesn't make any sense, because Meteor doesn't have any elemental affinity to it.
Maybe he eats meteors. Makes a nice breakfast cereal.
I eat meteors for breakfast.
There is a weird...
With skim milk.
He's specifically programmed to absorb meteor attacks. And as we see here, meteor has no effect. Use the crystal. Alright, Golbez, use the crystal. That did jack shit. Chose the dark path. Crystal cannot cleanse your sins. Bound by darkness forever. Oh, that sounds familiar.
Uh-oh.
He uses Meteor here. There is a game short code for the Super Nintendo version, may have been actually Game Genie, I forget, that makes all enemy attacks hit the enemies as well. This Meteor will also hit him, and if you're playing that on actual hardware where you can't turn off the Game Genie code mid-game, you're stuck.
Ugh.
Ugh. Well, this is a dark ending. Villains win. Huh. Well, that's not what I expected this game to end with. Yeah, you're kind of bleeding on the floor. Also,
How can you feel that?
plot convenience, the lack
you
of
can't
music.
see from up there.
Also notable, of course, if you didn't bring one of these characters with you, or rather if you did, like say if I brought Young instead of Edge, Edge would replace where Young is on screen right now. And I think they all have unique dialogue for when that happens. Well, actually, I like that line a lot more now because Edward saying take my strength means a lot more in the Game Boy Advance version onwards.
Yeah, really.
Take my Apollo's harp.
What's really interesting is that in Final Fantasy IX, there's something very, very similar right before the final boss, where the characters you choose, the characters that you do not choose will be like, take my strength, and then they will disappear.
And then they evaporate into mist and fireflies, and Nine's ending is weird.
Nine's ending is beautiful, but weird.
I still wonder where the hell that man came from. More on that probably when we get to 9 eventually. Alright, Zero Miss. I'm feeling in pain, but I can do this. I guess he's gonna give us the crystal. Oh, there it is. We never do learn exactly what crystal that is. It's just a crystal of crystalliness. I can't lose. I can't. I have all of the power in my body. Just in my pinky toe, that's it. Their prayers give you life. Notable.
I love how the Final Fantasy theme plays during this.
Oh yeah, I love this. There's a lot of moments.
Tell her what?
Yeah, one little detail I'd like there. It doesn't show up so much in the other versions, but for that sprite of Tello specifically, they actually faded the bottom of his sprite to make him appear more ghostly, given, his circumstances. Give the crystal to the holy power within you. It's time to make Zero Miss show his true self. Also, I love this background. It is one of my favorite final boss backdrops in history. I have no idea what it's supposed to be, but it looks cool. Let's use that crystal. And let's start setting up other things, like a spider silk. Zero Miss reveals his true self. It can't be that bad.
Lightning.
Can only get pro. What the hell is that?
Whoa.
Zero Miss is our final boss. He has 65,498 HP. No experience points or gil for obvious reasons. And he has Big Bang, Flare, Maelstrom, Meteor, Black Hole, and Bio. The only two unique attacks there are Big Bang and Black Hole. Black Hole removes Berserk, Float, Blink, Barrier, and Reflect from all allies. Big Bang is the more deadly of the two. It inflicts massive damage to all party members and inflicts sap. He uses that as his opening move, and then several times more throughout the battle. You can tell when he's about to do that, I believe, when he starts to shake. In terms of a strategy for this, you want to use your Spider Silks on him immediately to get him slowed. You want to cast Haste on Rosa in order to help her have some healing or haste others quickly. Jump and Focus are one you want to use with Kane or Young. Throw with Edge with Fuma Shurikens. Bahamut with Rydia. Kuraja with anyone who can use it after a Big Bang. If you're playing the Super Nintendo, PlayStation, or 3D versions, I would recommend throwing the kitchen knife if you have it here. I don't want to use that because it would be gone forever for post-game stuff. Do not cast Holy, though, because I believe this guy technically absorbs that.
Does he?
Yeah, he absorbs Sacred Power, so Holy attacks would be absorbed.
But he's not sacred, he's evil.
What is evil, really? Also, I'd like to note, it took me until the 3D versions of the game to realize this thing has a face. If you look at that giant blue globe around the middle of the sprite, and then look to the right until you see like a diagonal red bar, that's his eye.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. But also super weird.
I still have no idea what this thing is technically supposed to be. Obviously, it's like his hatred or malice and whatever. But even for a lot of Final Fantasy final bosses, this comes out of kind of nowhere. Actually, no.
I still think Neo X Death looks weirder.
Yeah, Neo X Death is weirder from a weird concept because that's like an amalgamation of a lot of things. But this is the only time we see something like this in the game.
Oh, I love this music. Final boss theme is so good.
It's very short, and the repeat it loops pretty quickly because of that, but it's such a good attack. Let's see, Big Bang, how much does this do?
It's like 900.
Ow.
Oh!
Yeah, that, poor Kane. How does space warpiness taste, Kane? That's probably something you're not going to get to taste much often. Yeah, that would basically kill Edge. But that's game. Zeramis, despite looking intimidating and having some powerful attacks, doesn't really have much HP to back it up, which is an issue Kefka has as well
Man,
in 6.
The more I look at it, that background looks so good.
I know. But we cannot perish as long as evil exists in the hearts of the living. Or man, as it was said in the 3D version. That's a line that actually always kind of sticks with me. Mind you, I see that kind of line a lot. The most recent Super Sentai series that I watched with Jordan, the guy from the Q Ranger stuff, not the Q Ranger, the Mega Man Wily War stuff, and obviously Kenny knows him, basically said the exact same thing when he died too. That's it. I guess it's over.
What's up the stairs?
We actually do never see what's up there in this version. Yeah, I guess we may have caught up with you Lunarians. Mind you, I say that, but Cecil's kind of half, so I am the bridge. True evil will never die. That's depressing.
I mean, it is a sad fact of life. There's evil in every human being at least once in there.
I do like that they bring up this idea of somewhat of a balance. Within every amount of evil within a person, there's also the potential for good, and vice versa. Yeah, don't ruin the moment, Edge. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised you didn't fall during the final battle. I was actually kind of surprised when it was Kane that did. Yeah, it's a fair point. Edge is...
What?
It's definitely impure.
My heart is filled with goodness to the brim, even when I called Rubicante a jerk and he didn't do anything.
Thanks, Rasuya.
Honestly, something that I don't really like about this ending is
this.
Yeah.
Fusoya is going to make sure that the Lunarians can rest for much longer because they're probably not ready. But Golbez wants to go with him. This comes into more fruition during the after years, and I admit to that they made that work right. But I always felt as if this was kind of a cop-out to some extent. Because Golbez has a lot of sins to pay for himself, and he even admits to that himself, essentially. So then own up to your sins then, man. However, I do like one thing in this moment, aside from the fact that they're using the Lunarian theme, which is just a very nice, somber piece.
Oh.
What are you gonna do, Cecil? Come on, Cecil.
What? Come on, do something.
Oh. Now, one thing I wish they had done here in this version, is, because we already had the 3D version by this point, as well as after years, I kind of wish they had Golbez take off his helmet. I guess that's it for Golbez, then. Oh boy, this again. One born of a dragon, bearing darkness and life, shall rise to the heavens over the still land. Yeah, we did that. Actually, I'm trying to remember exactly where Cecil was supposed to be born. It wasn't Mysidia, but it was something similar, and I guess that's where the dragon thing, bearing darkness and light, is supposed to be, because that's very much describing Cecil right there. The moon's light eternal brings a promise to the planet with bounty and grace. After a brief pause, the moon travels forth, seeking another in search of its radiance. Though of the same blood, lunar and terrestrial both, time's march alone keeps too far apart.
That's a little obscure.
Yeah. However, we can very clearly tell what they're talking about. Oh, and that's a planet. I actually do like that they actually have more planets in the solar system. That's nice. Yeah, I guess we don't really have much use for the lunar whale at the moment anymore, do we?
It's weird, because doesn't Earth in this game have 2 moons, and we only visit one of them?
Well, the other moon, I think, is just the actual moon. The Lunarian moon, as I guess, supposed to be it's essentially a giant spaceship. Yes, sir. Now, where is Palom? Now, a nice little detail like the ad here. Palom's talking to this girl. Probably showing off being a playa, quote-unquote. This character actually has a name, because she is a character in the After Years. Aw, I missed that. Yeah, come on, Slowpoke.
I don't remember that girl's name. Suddenly.
They don't name her in the 2D versions of the game, basically at all, except for After Years. She is outright named that in a dialogue box I think she has in the 3D versions, though. No, I had got to ascend to being a king. It looks like they repaired Eblon pretty good, too.
Huh.
Who needs responsibilities? For some reason, I always imagined Edge would be voiced by Quentin Flynn. I don't know why. Screw off, Sheshamal. Why'd you stop, Edge? Oh. She was technically born 10 years ago.
It's so weird.
Yeah. How do you think they would explain that to him? She's technically 17, but she's also technically 10. Why wouldn't she come back? This is essentially her home now. She loves y'all.
Oh. I wish I could have fangs like you. You can't
I imagine would be very much a kind of a bridge between the world of spirits and the world of humanity in this world.
Having played most of the After Years, actually I'm about halfway through it. Seeing Queen Ashura say, "I can't wait to see what the future holds for the Feymarch" is such a hilariously ironic line.
It's kind of depressing. I guess Yang took over as king. Sheila's now a queen then.
What happened to that kitchen knife?
We still have it. You think we're trusting her with that thing? That thing's a dangerous weapon. The only person who's right to hold that is... Actually, no one is. It's time to throw it in the ocean. I'm pretty sure someone will take it up with a choke ball in like 4,000
years. So Yang is the
years.
king, and yet there's a king right next to him.
I always assumed the original king took more of the position of advisor.
Strange.
But yeah, just throw the kitchen knife into the ocean. I'm sure someone will dig it up in a game of Chocobo Hot and Cold.
Duke Consort.
Essentially an advisor. Oh yeah, we kind of forgot about. Whoops. At least it looks like he's rebuilding.
Things are going okay. Whatever
this
happened
is actually
to
always
Anna's ghost?
Yeah, she kind of passed on after Ed had that moment in Kaipo. I actually really have always liked this particular portion of the ending because Ed probably had the hardest shit thrown at him in the game because he watched his girlfriend die, his girlfriend's father die, essentially, off screen at that to him. And he has to rebuild an entire nation. The guy doesn't have an easy life.
And he's also a garbage player, or garbage fighter.
In most versions, at least.
So he's looked down upon by many. It's just not a good day for poor old Ed.
Lolly ho!
I love Lally Ho. Or as I like to say, Rally Ho.
We don't really have many repairs to make, though. The Red Wings did some damage. Yeah, I mean, just look at the walls, but it's not too much.
What do you mean you don't have enough materials?
Take apart the text and remove any useful pieces. Yeah, disarm ourselves. I'm sure nothing bad will come with that in about 17 years.
But maybe Luca will have some good things going for her.
Yeah, she'll probably have grown up, maybe become a party member of her own. Seems so right. Oh! Yeah, I guess, as I brought up, technically speaking, Cecil is the closest thing to a prince Baron had. And actually, I'd like to note, that line was actually foreshadowed way back when we defeated Cognazzo, even, by someone we talked to in the Baron Castle.
Something I find funny is that you got the king, you got Odin, which is the king, and then you never used him.
Yeah, honestly. Oh, whoa, Kane without a helmet.
Oh, Kane without a helmet, nice.
Oh, we don't get a unique dialogue approach it, damn it. I do like this, though, because Kane's even saying, I'm not ready to see you guys again, after all the shit I've done. And that actually does play into something with the after years. A lot of this actually plays into the after years eventually, which mind you is like, what, 20 years later, I think? 15, somewhere around that range. A lot of time after.
I think it's 17, 18.
Either way, a long time after the release of the original release of 4. What's going on with the moon? Also, I'd like to note, this cutscene we're about to see plays super slowly in the 3D versions. Like, I'm talking, it's like 3 times as slow. It's bad.
Why is it so slow? Processing?
It's not just the frame rate, it's the fact they made the cutscene take forever.
Ugh.
What about the moon? I don't see anything. In fact, how are we seeing this point of view from a telescope? Are we supposed to be looking for something? Yeah, there's us and our twin moons.
It's weird, because they said the moon, and they're like, what's happening with the moon? And yet we're given a snapshot of the solar system.
Yeah. Well, I don't see anything happening with the moon. What are you talking about? Oh, jeez.
Huh, it's really close.
Watch the camera. And we get to hear this again. I love this cutscene in the 3D version. Yeah, what's up, bro?
Aww.
Up. I'll stand for the Final Fantasy National Anthem.
I'll stand to that. I will do that right now. I pledge allegiance to Final Fantasy. Okay, yeah, no pledge of allegiance to that.
On our adoring public. Time to get coronated. And, I guess, married. Yeah, come on, Sid. You're essentially a father, because we don't know what actually happened to Rose's real father.
What I actually really like is that there's a lot of games where there's 2 characters that are in love, but they never actually get married. I love that in this game it actually does happen.
Yeah, well, the most you get is like that they finally confess to each other, or they get together.
That's the best that 9 offers with Zidane and Garnet is, oh, I love you and stuff, and then maybe a kiss at the end, maybe.
Yeah, Tales of games also have that extreme issue. I'm looking at you, especially Tales of the Abyss. Legitimately, the game ends with one of the characters just saying, I love you, while the game is fading to white.
Oh, Edge, flirting with Rosa.
Yeah, I'd say he's more being just the playful little teenager he is. Hey, how you doing, King? Luca?
I love Luca, she's so cute.
Young, how's your mustache doing? Looks like you've trimmed it a little bit.
It does not look trimmed. Just saying.
It's a joke, Kenny.
Oh, hello,
hey,
Palom.
Hey, how you doing, Palom? Porum, make sure to keep him in line. Hey, that's my chair. Get the hell out, you kid.
That's so funny. And the
Elder,
Elder.
keep him in line. I'm noticing a distinct lack of Dragoon. Oh, that's gotta suck having your wedding get skipped by your best friend.
No.
Ugh.
Oh, okay. Looks like we have Palom and Luca doing a thing.
Ed, Don't play your harp at me. I'm scared of that thing now. And the one who started it all.
The best girl in the entire game.
Hey, oh. Come a long way since she was just a little girl we rescued at the start of the game. All hail the king and queen of Baron. Also, I love Rose's sprite, but it looks like her arms are very stiff. And ladies and gentlemen, that is Final Fantasy IV. I actually have to do a musical edit here because the PSP version's credits are actually longer than the Super Nintendo versions. They use the DS version of the credits theme here. So to keep myself consistent, I actually had to loop the Super Nintendo version theme here properly. That took some effort.
I gotta say, this is the part of the Super Nintendo theme that I actually really like.
Oh, yeah. But Final Fantasy IV, if it's not entirely cleared by something amount of stuff I had to say about this game, I love Final Fantasy IV. Historically, this is actually the very first RPG I played, and to this day, it is still my favorite. Partially due to nostalgia, I admit to that, because this game does have some issues. And while I like how fast-paced the story is, there's not a lot of downtime for stuff due to that. Some of the characters don't get enough development in my eyes. In fact, the only ones who really do are Cecil, Kane to some extent, in Rydia. Edge gets some, but nothing really notable. And I find the whole twist with Golbez being under control of someone else to being a little cheap. The way I think they should have done that, if they did it at all, was to have Golbez go the rest of the game as the villain until the final boss, have him be the final boss in some way, and then reveal after you beat him that he's under someone else's control, and that guy ends up getting killed, basically, from the Golbez defeat. So then maybe you can have a bit more of a tragic twist of him learning that Golbez is Cecil's brother, and then still having to fight him. Zemus is the weakest part of the game. However, on the whole, this game is still great. It plays well. It's very good. A very good RPG, honestly, for people trying to get into the genre. The music is fantastic. I know we gushed all about it, but keep in mind, we weren't listening to remixes the entire game. We were listening to the original 1991 Super Nintendo orchestration. That's all done on a sound chip. That is incredible for the system, especially for 1991.
That's one thing that Uematsu does best, is put sound chips to their limits.
What are your thoughts in general, Kenny?
I haven't personally played Final Fantasy IV nearly as much as this man, so I don't have as much to say about it, but I will say that the story is pretty captivating, though I will say a bit cliche at sometimes. Having, multiple people die all at the same time, I felt was a little bit strange.
Oh, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, that kind of pisses me off in some ways nowadays.
I thought that was just kind of a little bit of a weird choice on the developer's part. Drop rates in this game pissed me off like nobody's business. Let me think about that. Other than that, really, I think this is a pretty well done RPG, especially for the time. It was pretty cool. I really,
this did set
really
the
enjoyed
standard
it.
For basically
and
RPGs in general afterwards.
I think one of my favorite parts is that they extended it into the after years, and they've kept remaking it, because it's, there's a reason why they keep doing it, because it's one of their proudest achievements.
It is I think aside from Final Fantasy I, it is the most ported Final Fantasy. And for good reason, because it is a solid game. If you want my personal recommendations, Super Nintendo version is funny for bad translation of the 90s nowadays, but if you're looking for a good play, find the PSP version. Not only do you get the best version of Final Fantasy IV as it is, but you also get the sequel, The After Years, as well as a new PSP exclusive scenario I'll be going over in a moment. And the 3D version is another beast in and of itself. It's a lot more Shakespearean and theatrical with its story presentation. However, the game's also a lot harder due to the fact that they expect veterans to be playing it, and thus they changed up a lot of strategies. It is still a very solid play, though. In terms of what's next for Kenny and I, you might remember, I think even back in Final Fantasy I stated this, the order that we were going to do is Final Fantasy 1, 2...
1, 2, 3.
No, 1, 2, Chrono Trigger, 3, 4...
3, 4, and then 7, I think.
7. And that is what's up next. 7's up next. However, you might notice I've mentioned throughout the game there is post-game here. We are going to be doing that after 7. My goal to do there is we're going to do 7, finish that up, and then I'll do the post-game for this, which will probably be only like 4 to 6 parts long as it is. And then, just to make it feel more like we're doing an actual RPG together, at least in terms of full length, we'll also do the very short interlude scenario that's exclusive to the PSP version, because that's only about 4 to 6 hours long. Just so we can have like more of a proper length RPG session together.
Yeah, definitely. And then,
so look forward to that. That'll come eventually.
And then eventually we'll get to my favorite RPG, my favorite in the series, 9. I don't know when that's going to be.
Yes.
It'll be. I think that'll be after. I don't know if you're doing 8 after the 4. No, I guess not.
I'm staying away from 8 as long as possible. If anything, 9 is more likely to be after the 4 revisit. If it's not that, it'll probably be 5.
5. God, 5 is so hard, but it's so much fun.
5, I think, is probably one of the most smartly designed games in the series. Also, I should warn you, Kenny. Let's see, we're at 36 minutes. I actually recommend turning down your video's audio because the viewers won't hear this due to the fact that I kind of fixed it by then. But I realized when looking at the edited files recently, the ending of the credits' audio is not lowered. It's at 100%, and thus it might blow out your ears.
I have my volume at 3 and not 100, thankfully.
All right, you should be fine then. Obviously, to the viewers, that means nothing, but it was just I didn't want to...
Wow, that was
like that.
Nice. That was a good catch. There.
Yeah, I noticed that, like, not even 3 days ago, I was like, oh, shit!
It's not good.
Also, I want to say, this is one of the last Final Fantasies to have this kind of effect going on during the credits, because 5 did this, I think, but 6 started doing something different onwards, so...
6's ending is so good. It's
oh yeah, 6's
so
credit sequence is honestly one of the best in the series. But we're almost at the end of seeing the little spacey background. Though 7 did bring this back somewhat by having it happen as a little post-credits thing. Which was weird. But it's always... It's kind of funny looking back at this, because Final Fantasy IV was actually originally going to be one of the first games I did for the channel way back in 2011, 2012-ish. But I just couldn't figure out how I wanted to get it done right, because doing RPGs to me back then was very, not alien, but overwhelming, because there was a lot to do, a lot to see, and a lot to edit, and I just was not ready. And I think I did like the first 4 parts, which roughly got me to Mount Ordeals, I think, roughly again. But I was just not satisfied with it, so I ended up deleting it. So it's an interesting look back.
I wish I could do that. I mean, I really could if I wanted to. I just don't have the same kind of conviction.
Yeah, because we're very different people when it comes to our recording ideologies. Your live commentary, do it as you go, have fun with it. I'm a lot more, I don't want to say professional, but I'm more organized, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
That's definitely how I would put it, that you have you're a lot more planned out. You plan a lot better.
The only thing that I really don't plan out when it comes to certain LPs is obviously the actual There's the audio increase.
Whoa, okay, I'm still at 3. I'm still at 3, and that surprised me.
Yeah, that's... I actually might leave it intact there for a second, just so they can see what it was like. But yeah, Final Fantasy IV, one of my favorite games of all time, probably top 10. It's a bit dated, it's a bit simple by modern standards, but it's still a very solid game. Hell, let me get the exact quote by my friend Jordan, because he recently played Final Fantasy IV, and he loves it. I think his exact quote is, "I don't know exactly what it is about Final Fantasy IV, but there's something about it that makes me really like it." And honestly, that's probably one of the best ways to put it, because this is just a very solid game. Some people see it as a bit overhyped and overplayed, especially given how many remakes and ports of it there are. And there is some merit to that, I think, but it's a beloved game for a reason.
Good. Yeah, definitely. I'm surprised that they didn't remake 7 before 4.
We're still not even at the point where the 7 remake's out yet.
Why is there a face on the moon?
Well, this plays into some of the post-game stuff. Upon beating the game, that face can now be entered as an area. I believe, I forget the name of it, but Lunar Ruins. The Lunar Ruins is a slightly randomized dungeon that you can only fully access after beating the final boss with certain characters. Because we did it with the team we got the seal upon the doors for the Lunar Ruins of Cecil, Kane, Rydia, Rosa, and Edge. In order to access all of the rooms, you need to beat essentially the final boss with 3 different parties, because you can never have because no matter what you do, no matter how you organize it, there's always going to be one character left out of the second battle.
Oh, that's...
So I have to go through the final dungeon 2 more times. That's another reason why I didn't want to do the postgame immediately, in order to access the Lunar Ruins. But with that, we're going to need to end the main game off here, and it'll be a while before we get to postgame again. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Kenny, for joining me on this adventure.
Thank you for having me. I still have a lot that I've learned from just this. So thank you for having me around.
You're welcome, man. It's good to have you. And we'll see you guys next Let's Play, whatever that may be. I think next up, singular for just me alone, I think we're heading over to the PlayStation to mess with a certain marsupial. See you guys then.